Football will always be a violent, physical, and dangerous game. In all actuality, that's one of the main reasons that so many people are drawn to it. And while we continue to try and find ways through technology to make the game safer, the one thing we can't do is turn it into flag football. And with the recent adjustments to the roughing the passer calls that we've seen in the Bucs game and now the Chiefs last night, it seems that we are heading in that direction. Now, the Tua injury was tough to see, and there are many others that happen every single weekend, and we should obviously take those as seriously as we possibly can. But by slowly eliminating physicality, or the ability for defenders to play physical, we will eventually lose the game. What sets these athletes apart and why they make millions is their speed, size, ability to think on the fly, and their overall physicality. The NFL has made drastic changes across the board to try and curb some of the violence, like basically eliminating cut blocks or wedges on kickoff return. And some changes have been positive and needed to be made, but it feels like now we have crossed the line of wanting to be safe while not taking away the overall physicality of the game. Football is changing before our very eyes, some good and some not so much. But if the NFL continues to take weapons away from the gladiators, why would anybody ever come to the Coliseum again?
There it is.
Go ahead and bring in a co-host, David
There
Cohn,
it is.
Blaine Crane as well. Guys, listen, and you know, we talk about all the time player safety and realizing the risk and understanding that you decide to play the game. You know how fast the game is. You know how physical the game is, yet you still decide to play it, so it's going to be part of it. That doesn't mean we can't make rules to make it safer. That doesn't mean that safety can't be to the forefront. But it seems to me now that we are starting to make moves that is taking away the essence of why people turn on that TV, whether it's college, whether it's pro. You turn it on because it's about as close to as we get to the old gladiator days. It is a physical, four-quarter fight with big hits, guys in the trenches falling on each other, hand-to-hand combat, all that stuff. And Cohn, if we lose that, then it's just going to turn into 7-on-7.
Football's not about safety. Football's about the opposite of safety. Now, none of us want to see guys get injured, and I certainly understand the NFL not wanting to see their stars get injured. And a lot of times you have quarterbacks who are star players. You want them on the field. You want people to come to the games. But to me, with the NFL, they have to understand if you change football too much, like you were saying, if you change football too much, it's not even the same sport anymore. And I heard some people talking about this on Twitter and talking about player safety needs to be at the forefront. And I saw this comment here that really stood out to me. It said, football is a game in which high testosterone, peak conditioned athletes wreak havoc on each other's quality of life. And a common response to that, I loved that first of all, but a response to that is, well, why are we doing that? That's just a distraction and that seems barbaric. No, it's important because this is an outlet for young men. This is an outlet for young men to be able to go out there and express masculinity. And we never talk about the flip side of this coin. If we take sports away or if we take the physicality away from this sport, what happens to these young men if they're not playing football and they're not on the football field and they're not practicing and they're not being disciplined? They could be out on the streets doing other things.
That's exactly right. And you know, a lot of guys use outlets in different ways. I mean, and it's not all football. Football, like you said, is the haven to be able to channel that stuff, to give you an outlet, whether it's on Friday night going out there and playing in high school or on Saturday going out there and playing in college. Hell, get into college. Get into college. I mean, it's an avenue that opens up so much, and that's kind of the trade-off. You know, if they were just out there giving, you know, just giving guys free paths to be able to put their outlet in whatever, this wouldn't even be a conversation, but that's not how life works. I'm a firm believer that if they would have cared about sports, and we talked about this with Shapiro on, if they would have cared about sports enough in the early 1900s, like if our type of football was huge in Germany, like in the 30s, I don't think we ever had World War II. Because think about it, when you had no sports, what was the outlet?
Yeah.
You go to the military and you're all just sitting there running around, just a bunch of guys with high testosterone waiting to blow some stuff up.
And that's what sports is now for us. It's a proxy for battle. Sports was invented when the guys who were battling, actually there was no battle going on and they still needed to be tuned up.
That's exactly right. You've got to have an outlet, and I think the answer is always somewhere in the middle when we talk about safety. And not losing the essence of the game. I feel like we crossed that line with this new reference.
Because do we have that tackle, by the way?
Yeah, let's show it real quick.
I think it might be clip 9, maybe.
Because it happened, obviously, last night in the Falcons, in the Chiefs-Raiders game, but it also happened in the Falcons-Bucs game. Let's play this clip last night. How in the hell is this roughing the passer? Go ahead and play the clip.
That's a tackle.
That's a sack.
That's a
and
tackle.
the guy, one of the defenders, one of the Captain Hindsights that go out there for the referees and pretend like they didn't screw up when they screwed up. Like, you could have a ref legitimately shoot somebody in the middle of the street and they'd blame it on an offensive lineman. Like, somewhere they blame it on an offensive lineman. But here they said, oh well, he used his full body weight to land on him. This whole body weight thing is so ridiculous. I get it. If you Nick Fairley somebody and like you grab Aaron Murray and jump up in the air like a whale breaching the surface and land down with all 300 pounds
Like Free
on
Willy.
him. But when you're running through somebody and you not only that, but you force a fumble and you fall on them, that's a tackle. That's a tackle. But you know what? Maybe we should just help the offense out some more. How about we just help them out some more? What else y'all guys want? Y'all want to play? Y'all want
Look,
5 downs?
Well, I'll take everything we can get.
Y'all want 5
to be
downs?
honest. But the thing with me is, like, no matter, it's getting to the point, not only in football and society, it doesn't matter how wrong you are. People don't admit being wrong.
Yeah.
They will die on whatever hill is they have. It doesn't matter what they have to make up. They will
Don't
die
believe
on
your
that
lying
hill.
eyes.
The NFL will not come out and say they make a mistake. It's getting to the point now where this is costing teams games.
Yes.
This almost cost the Chiefs the ball game. There's no realm or world or dimension that in the game of football that this is roughing the passer. One, it is ruining football. Two, there's a way you can play violent, play fast, and still play safe. These boys get paid millions of dollars. The least amount you can get paid on a practice squad is $500K. If your head gets banged up a little bit, it's part of the game.
Well, don't play.
It's football. You chose to do.
You chose to play. Nobody's forcing you to play. That's the problem I have with Dominique Foxworth. You're going to cry to me about giving you some extra millions when you chose to do this. You chose to do this. Nobody, it's one thing if you're like, how many accountants out there like halfway through their career, they're like, man, I hate being an accountant. But you know whose fault it is? It's my fault. You want to know why? Because I chose to do it.
Not only chose to do it, but they somehow want the salaries to go up. We don't want Thursday night games, right? We don't want these back-to-back Thursday to Sunday games. We don't want to practice anymore. No practice before 11 a.m. We don't want to take any hits in the offseason. Only a certain amount, but we want our salaries to go up.
Yeah.
How? How? We have the Brady one too.
Yeah,
Flip
this
6.
actually pretty much cost the Falcons the game. They're down 6, came all the way back in the fourth quarter, second half basically. This is a huge third down to get the ball back. Let's watch this. Roughing the passer. Play the clip. I mean, look, Grady Jarrett grabs him, turns around, and sacks him. That is a sack. At first I thought this was just because it was Tom Brady. Like, I didn't even really, in my mind, register to be like, the Tua thing with the roughing the passer injury. I was like, they're trying to protect Tom Brady because they always try and protect Tom Brady. But this goes on with their new rule. It's got to stop now. I mean, even Troy Aikman last night is like, look, we got to take the dresses off. This is ridiculous. And some lady was like, oh, wow, you're right. That was a bad roughing the passer. What a sexist thing for Troy Aikman to say, take the dresses off. What, men can't wear dresses?
Yeah, did you see?
Homophobe?
He said the
Homophobe?
60s. The 60s called and it wants its chauvinist back. I said, look, the 60s did call. It wants its football back.
Yeah, it's exactly
all right. Because this right here is not football, man.
No, it's absolutely ridiculous. Let's go ahead and play this clip with Kenny Pickett as well.
Can really come in and compete at a high level. It's got a first. Oh my goodness.
Like,
now that one wasn't called roughing the
That
passer,
wasn't
but he got upset at that.
wasn't roughing the passer. And listen, I can understand that. We wanted to show this clip to give you like some contrast. I can understand that call way more than I can
Well,
understand.
that one wasn't even called.
No, I
That's the
understand.
thing.
They called the personal foul on the guy who clocked the came.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. But the thing was, Kenny Pickett was upset because he thought the defender was going after his knees.
no, for sure. You slid.
I know.
You slid. This is the same guy that pretended to slide.
He did pretend to
yeah,
slide.
like
in
after you did
college.
that, dude, I don't want to hear anything about it. Like I don't want to hear anything about it. It was a smooth move. Hey guys, hope you really enjoyed that content. Make sure you subscribe, not only here to YouTube, go and check us out at the Daily Wire Plus as well, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, but we appreciate you checking us out. Spread the word. We're growing like a weed. Just don't pick us out of the garden.